Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vienna Ortiz, and my goal is to help content creators and entrepreneurs leverage social media, create content that converts, and build a business that prospers. So today I have a really exciting video for you because it's something that I am so passionate about. It is how to create posts with value on Instagram. So I don't know if you've noticed, but Instagram has definitely been leaning more towards an educational platform. And I say this with a little bit of hesitation because you never want to take education advice from anyone on Instagram necessarily. But you guys, if you see the amount of people that are trying to advocate, that are trying to teach you something on Instagram, I mean, it is really a beautiful thing. And so if you're not adding value to your Instagram feed, I'm not sure that you are going to grow as quickly as you want to. I know that for a fact because I have definitely grown as I've changed over my content to trying to add value as much as I can to my audience. And so I want to share with you some of the tips and the tricks that I have learned and that I have implemented so that you too can provide value before you get left behind and maybe you don't grow your audience as quickly as you would like. So first off, obviously people want to grow their audience and their followers because especially if you have a business, these are the people that are going to be your target audience. These are the people that are wanting to learn from you, to buy from you, and to grow with you. And this is all great. However, how do you get people to recognize that either you are an expert in what you're talking about or that your product somehow adds value to their life? I'm going to give you a few strategies you can start using right now and start implementing on your Instagram feed right away. So the first one is to identify the pain points of your audience. Identify what your audience, what your followers are struggling with. What is it that they've come to your page for? What is it that they want to learn from you? What is it that they're having a hard time with and that you can help them with? Because if you know that, you can start creating content that caters to their pain points. Now, there are a few ways that you can figure this out firsthand. The first way is you can go into your insights and see what content your audience has already been liking, been interacting with, been saying was helpful. You can go in and really see the content that they love. And with that, you can start to recognize some of the patterns and recognize some of the things that they are really resonating with and start figuring out some of their pain points. Another way to figure out a pain point is to recognize kind of where you've been and where you are now and what you were struggling with back then. Not everybody is at the same level that you are now. You might be here and they might be here. You were probably there at one point where you didn't know XYZ, but now you know XYZ, and so now you can teach about XYZ. So you need to kind of remember where you were and some of the things that you wish somebody would have told you back then or somebody would have shared with you. So you can either like jump a little bit, skip a little bit, or just something that would allow you to continue on with your journey in whatever you were struggling with. Another strategy you can do is to poll your audience. Not everybody loves to poll their audience because it can seem a little bit like you're infringing upon them or whatever it might be. But if you're really trying to find out what your audience is struggling with, then you're going to want to have a poll, some type of market research that you can do to figure it out. It's really the fastest and easiest way. And if you're finding that you're not getting a lot of engagement on these polls, have some type of incentive at the end, have some type of, giveaway that they can be thrown into if they complete it. Whatever it is, people love incentives, and this will allow you to see where your audience really is and who you've been attracting. You can do this in a fun way. You don't have to just flat out do the poll. You can kind of make it about them and make sure that you are asking questions that they want to answer. Get creative with it. Don't do it all at once. Kind of scatter it here and there. But this is probably the fastest way to get to what your audience is struggling with. After you've kind of found out the pain points of your audience, now you need to decide the content that would be most valuable to them. And again, this is where you're going to have to put your expertise into play. This is where you're going to take everything that you've learned, everything that you know, and break it down into the most minute content that you can and start kind of seeing how your audience responds. You can always pivot, but it's important to just start. If you don't feel like your audience is really learning anything from you, getting anything from you, they're most likely not going to follow you. There's millions of accounts that they can follow on Instagram, so why follow yours? most likely it's because you're adding something to their life, you're teaching them something, you're making them feel a certain way. And so there's a couple ways that you can do that. You can have graphics on your feed. It's so popular now. Everyone's doing it. And I think it's such a great way to get content out there. You can do so in your captions. So let's say you're really not into graphics, you can always provide some valuable content in your captions. You can also do so in Reels. Of course, Reels are fun and lighthearted, but you can also provide value and some educational material in Reels. You can go live on your Instagram feed. You can post IGTV videos. You can do so in your stories. You can link to other places on the Instagram. Somehow you're going to need to provide value, and those are just some ways to do it. So, just to recap, in order to provide value, you're going to need to find out your audience's pain points, right? Find out what they're struggling with, and then decide in what way you're going to provide your value. How are you going to show up on your Instagram? Are you going to post specific content, specific graphics, specific captions? What is it that you're going to do? Now, this is already a lot of information, so go ahead and get started with these actionable steps and start polling your audience and start doing some market research to see where you can show up for your audience, for your followers, and start teaching, start educating, start making people feel a certain way. See how your audience grows. Last piece of information and tip that I want to give you before this ends as far as providing value is to nurture the audience that you have. And I'll talk about this in another video as to why this is very important. But as you're continuing to provide value and you are looking to grow your audience so that you can either sell to them or you can create an impact, whatever it may be, just remember to nurture the audience that you currently have and not focus so much on trying to get other people in, because the more you nurture the audience you have, it'll just organically happen. And so I want you to keep your eyes on the prize and really just focus on those that are already on board with you and see how your audience continues to grow and interact with you even more as you provide value. So you've got some work to do. If you want to see how you can work with me even further, I do have a few ways and I do have some resources. Go to viennaortiz.co. That's viennaortiz.co. Don't forget to like this, subscribe if you want some more videos like this, and I will see you in my next video.